your guy, Mr. Breaking News. For those who don't know me, for those who knows me, thank you for stay tuning in our podcast. This is Sinki Wabadama. We told you, we speak English, we speak Afrikaans. Here live at Team Breaking News. I've got a visitor here.
Sinki, how are you, bro?
I'm good, thanks. Welcome to Team Breaking News, man.
Thank you for the invite, bro.
Yeah. We came here. Firstly, man, before you introduce yourself to you always tell me about your girlfriend. What is so special, man? My girlfriend this, my girlfriend this. You love her, is it? Unconditional love.
No, I do love my girlfriend, and she is special, you know. She supports me 100%, you know. And also, it's difficult being an artist and not making money and still having someone loving you without having money, you know, because girls these days, they only date for money.
Yeah.
You know, so I am grateful to have a girlfriend that loves me for who I am and not for what I'm becoming or for what I have.
Yes.
You know, that's why I love her so much.
I know. Big ups, man, with your girlfriend. Otherwise, Tez, we invited you to Team Breaking News talk show. We want you to take us through your road. Where you coming from? Where are you going? What are you doing? Or what is the passion? Because our main intention is to encourage those ones who are sitting at home, our viewers there. They want to be like you. You said you are broke. I don't know about that. I think it was a joke.
I'm pre-rich. Let me say pre-rich.
Pre-rich,
yes.
Yeah. So otherwise, there's somebody who wants to be what you are now.
Sure.
I know some of the things that you're doing now. But I want you to take us from your primary school, your high school, up until at least now. Yes. Before you go there, where are we here?
Where are we? Oh, yes. We are at 6929 in Motlakeng.
Yes.
Dope food shop owned by a friend of mine, KB.
Yes.
Food is always nice at 6929, you know. I remember one day I had a gig at Lijava, also here in Motlakeng.
Okay.
And KB came through with some food for me, and that food was amazing. I think I still have pictures on my Facebook of me eating while he was busy taking pictures.
Okay.
But we are at 6929 in Motlakeng.
I think our viewers will see that video while you're eating.
Yeah, I'll share the pictures with you.
Okay, no problem. As long as our viewers as well see what you are talking about. Who is Taz?
Okay, Taz is a music lover, passionate about music, house music, to be precise. But I love music in general. Like, I grew up listening to a lot of soulful stuff, ballads, jazz, you know, because I grew up with my grandparents. And my grandfather had an LP collection. Some of them refer to it as vinyls, you know, but I'm old school. I refer to it as LPs, you know. And that's where I think my love for music started. Growing up in a household where my granny had a shabin, you know, so there was always music playing. And if we had family over, they would ask me, "Hey bro, can you change that LP? Can you play this one?" Yes. And because I
LP,
went through...
Okay, before you go,
LP is a vinyl. The 12 inch, yes.
The round one.
Yes, the vinyls. They refer to it as vinyls.
I used to have one, but I never played it.
I grew up knowing that this is an LP.
Okay.
You know, my grandfather used to say it's an LP, a long play. You know, because the EP is an extended play, the LP is a long play.
Yeah.
But those vinyls, like, I grew up listening to stuff like that, like your Brooke Bentons. I grew up listening to a lot of jazz. And like I said, my grandmother had a shabin. So there was always music playing in my house. And I became passionate, you know, like listening to all the different styles, all the different sounds.
This is a product of a shabin.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I'm not even an alcoholic, which is weird because I grew up in a shabin.
In the shabin,
And I started drinking. I think I started drinking at the age of 1. I already had my first taste of Black Label, bro. Like,
age 1 meaning 1 year.
1 year old, I already had Black Label, dog. You can't imagine.
But I understand from a Shebin house, obviously, you should have those kind of taste. And,
if somebody sends me, I can tell you a quick story. One day, my grandfather's friends were chilling. And I craved for a beer, you know. And I'm like, how am I going to get a beer? Because I don't have money. I'm still a child.
So they used to give you a beer?
No, I lied to my granny. I went to my granny. I said to her, listen here, Uncle Guy is asking for a beer. And that is now my grandfather's friend. Yeah. He said, you must open the beer for him as well. And I'll take it to him. My granny opened the beer and I went to the garage. I had my first full black label by myself, dog. I was wasted.
So you got sloshed with a one.
Just one black label. I will never forget that day. I think when my mother eventually found me, I was sleeping in the garage, knocked out.
With one bottle.
Yeah, just one.
Those ugly ones, the old ones. I think I wish we can have that bottle. The
brown one, the big
brown
one.
The old ones. Remember, the black label now, the bottles are different to the old
compared
ones.
to the old ones. Yes.
Yeah, so it was the old one, the ugly bottle one.
But I grew up drinking beer, loving house music. And I think at the age of 6, just before I went to started my primary school, I wanted a set of drums. And my grandfather said to me, hell no. There's no way in hell I'm buying you drums because you are going to make a noise.
So this thing, passion of music started now.
At a very, very young age.
You wanted to play drums.
I wanted to play drums. And he's like, no, I cannot buy you a set of drums. You're going to make noise. Instead, I'll get you a keyboard. Okay. So I got the keyboard, but I wasn't into keys. I'm like, nah, I don't want to play a keyboard.
So you don't want to reduce transpose and
I'm like, nah, I want drums. And every single day, when it was time for me to go to keyboard lessons, I would run away. I'm like, this guy's coming here to my house for keyboard lessons. I'm not interested. But now I regret it. Because now I can't play keys. And I'm into music fully now, but I can't play keys. But I think that's when it started for me. That's when I felt
6
like
years.
this is where I want to be. But then at the age of 10, I will never forget this. I was listening to radio.
What grade are you doing by then?
Grade 4.
Okay.
I was in grade 4. Back then it was known as Standard 2. I'm old school, so it was known as Standard 2. And I'm in grade 4. And I'm listening to radio and they were playing like nice music because 95, 96 I was already introduced to house music, but I had no idea it's called house music. Because we had CDs at home. My uncle had strictly rhythm compilations, different house compilations at home, but I never knew that it was called house music. Because remember, I come from a time when we had Crystal Waters, the old disco sound. So that disco, it had the 4/4 already, but I had no idea what I'm listening to now is called house music. I knew they used to refer to it as disco, but now it's called house music, and I had no idea it's called house music. I'm still a minor, And then at the age of 10, I'm listening to radio, and they were having fun on radio. They were having fun, and they played the music that I like.
What station was that?
I previously said to someone, I cannot remember the station I was listening to because I used to channel hop a lot of times. If the station is having a boring conversation, I'm like, I'm going to the next station. I don't know if you remember Star Taxi Music.
No.
So Star Taxi Music, they used to come on tapes.
Okay,
right? On a cassette.
Cassette, yes.
Yeah, so I used to steal those cassettes from the taxi drivers at home. When they used to come back, I used to steal those cassettes. And those cassettes also, they were radio shows on tape. Yeah. Right?
It means you were deep into this.
I actually still have one of those tapes at home. I saved one of those Star Taxi Music cassettes as a memory of where I started. Yeah. And I still have that tape.
No, I think our viewers will also want to see that tape,
I'll go get it in my memory box.
They will see it. I think it will be posted as well on that video. You're still at Team Breaking News, a talk show. We have our guest here, Taz Golden. Yeah, so you may continue, Taz.
Yeah, so I was listening to radio and they were having fun. Cannot remember which station, but they played all the nice music. They were laughing. They were just having fun. And I'm like, I want this job because this is a job. These people are at work. Radio.
Presenter.
Yeah, I want to be on radio now. Because these people are playing music, they're making jokes, and it's called a job.
Yes.
I want this job. Yeah. Because they play music.
To have fun, actually.
And they're having nice conversations. I want to do radio. And also what inspired me was the fact that on radio, I always used to hear the ads. Catch this DJ at this club, and I'm like, hey, so if you're a DJ, you're playing in clubs and stuff. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. But I'm 10 years old. I know nothing about the industry. It was just a dream for me. Like, this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna have to practice it and learn and learn and learn, and eventually, hopefully, I'll become a DJ one day.
Yeah.
But my grandparents were like, nah, bro, you cannot go to a music school. You need to go to a normal school.
Yes.
You know, like everybody else, go
Yeah.
to a normal school. Only after you matriculated, then
You can
you
decide.
can decide what you wanna do. But you must go to a normal school, get your matric, and then you can decide what you wanna do. So I went to school. I was actually forced into going to school because I hated school, bruh. Because now you're doing biology, geography. I'm like, dog, I don't want to do this.
It's far from what
This is
you want.
It's
actually.
far from the music stuff. You know,
Yeah.
arts and culture was my favorite subject at school. You know,
Yeah.
because in arts and culture we could do dialogues. You know,
Yeah.
write your own stories,
Yeah.
and we could act in
Right.
front of the
Yes,
class, because
yes.
that's where my passion is.
Yeah.
I'm that person. I like having these conversations and stuff. But then only after matric, that's when I decided, okay, now I am gonna take a gap year.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
Because I went to school for 12 years. It was torture. I want to at least relax for a
So
1 year at home.
You felt like you were tortured.
Yeah.
Going to school.
But I imagine going to school, you must wake up early. I
Yeah.
lived in Walkerville,
Yeah.
right? And I went to school in Eldos.
Yeah.
So I
But
must...
Tez,
Yes,
tell
sir.
me, I think we do have parents who are watching us now.
Sure.
So,
It is.
what can you tell the parents who are forcing their children to study what they don't want? Now you speak to our parents there. They are pushing their children to say, look, you cannot do this, man, do this. You cannot go there, go there. For that, you have experience of it, how it felt. And up until today, you still regret going to school. That is why you're calling it a torture. But now, speak to the parents now.
Like, bro, you mentioned something that's close to me, because I feel like if I have a child one day, right? I feel that as a parent, like my parents were supposed to identify what I'm passionate about when I was still young. You know, as a parent, you can see, this one is into soccer, or this one is good with drawing. You know, focus on what your child is passionate about at a young age,
Discover the
because you can
potential
start
of it.
developing that potential. For example, if your child is good at soccer, and you can see it at the age of 6, 7, you know, you can start developing that child. By the age of 10.
You are not referring to me.
No, no,
You're
no.
speaking to the parents.
Okay, to the parents.
Yeah.
Like, see the potential in your child at a young age. If you know your daughter is good at sewing, making clothes, wanting to be a model, you know, focus on developing that child's potential at a young age. Because now you can steer and move that child in the direction where the child is actually going to be happy with what he or she wants to do. You know, one example, my grandmother said I must become a teacher. My grandfather, on the other hand, said I must become a plumber. And I'm like, yo, this is not one of the things on my list. Like, it's far. It's not, it's
Completely far,
not
yeah.
on my list. You know, I
Yeah.
don't want to be a teacher, nor do I want to be a plumber. I want to
Yeah.
be a musician.
Yes.
I want to work in radio. I want to be on TV. I want to do that stuff, you know. So I think as a parent, it's important for you to identify your child's potential in different aspects, you know,
Yeah.
like if the child is good in soccer, like I said, music, art, whatever it is that you feel that child is passionate about, develop it in that way where you can move the child in that direction.
Yes.
Like I made an example and I said, if I have a child one day and my son or daughter says, Taz, I want to be a tennis player.
Yeah.
By all means, am I going to move in that direction? And I will support my child in saying, you want to be a tennis player? I'll help you become that tennis player. Who knows? That child might just be the next Serena Williams
Yeah,
or Maria
true that.
Sharapova,
True
you know,
that.
or Nokovic or whoever,
Whoever, yes.
you know.
I think we all lost it due to lack of support from the parents.
Sure.
And then we happen to want to become engineers. We don't have passion with engineering, and we don't have passion with anything that the parents want.
Sure.
Then for that, I think today, through team breaking news, our parents have learned that you need
to. I
support.
think it's so important for you to identify as a parent what your child is passionate about. Because up until today, some parents still don't know what their kids are good at.
Yeah.
Like my mother only went to a gig once. My mother only saw me DJ once. and I've been DJing for 16 years.
Yo.
My mother only saw me like a year ago. She came to a gig and she saw me playing. You know, so they don't know what you do.
But what was the feeling?
It was good because
I saw some of the videos when you were DJing.
I enjoy it, bro. I enjoy playing music.
Yeah.
You know, so when she came to the gig, because I invited my family, and I'm like, no, I'm hosting something. You guys are welcome.
Yeah.
You know, and when it was time for me to play, my mom saw me playing for the first time. You know, and she's like, okay, he's actually good because people are now dancing to the music that I'm playing.
Yeah.
And she was right next to me, you know. But I feel like parents must really start investing their time in their children because we are the future, you know. But I also don't blame them because our parents grew up in an era where dreams were just dreams, you know, and they never knew that you can actually become who you want to be, you know. So I don't blame our parents for not believing in us, but they should understand that we are from a different generation.
Yes.
You know, we are the generation that is, we came in and we are breaking those generational curses. You know, whereby someone said you cannot be on TV. We are here to say we can be on TV.
Yes.
Where someone said you cannot be a doctor because you're from the Kasi. I can be a doctor. Even if I'm from the Kasi.
Yes.
I can become a lawyer even though I'm from the Kasi.
Yes.
You know, I feel like we also limit ourselves based on where we are from. And that's our biggest mistake that we make, you know, in society. Because you feel like, I'm from Klipspruit West, or I'm from Motlakeng, or I'm from Protea. I can't be anything because this is the Kasi that I grew up in. No, dog, you are your only limitation. You limiting yourself because your network will bring in the network.
Am I the only one sensing a motivational speaker here? I'm no longer interviewing anyone.
No, but
like I'm being motivated.
That's where I started believing in myself. Like, doesn't necessarily mean like my mom is a single mother and I never had a father growing up. I need to limit myself. You know, I can still be whoever I want to be. You know, and that's where I started saying that I'm gonna be a DJ. I'm gonna be a DJ. And that's also when I realized manifestation is such a powerful thing. You know, your tongue is such a powerful tool. If you speak things, you speak it into existence. You know, and just me saying from the age of 10, I'm gonna be a DJ and I'm gonna be on radio. Eventually it happened for me because I used to speak about it all the time. I used to dream about it. I used to stay up late at night listening to music, to understand music. That's why it's so easy for me to listen to jazz, R&B, hip hop, because I invested my time into something that I want. I'm gonna make an example of manifestation for you, bro. 2015, I started radio, right, on Aldos FM. I dropped out of my first year media studies at Boston Media House.
Okay, wait, before you go there, you passed your Matric.
Yes, I passed my Matric.
Which subject were you doing there?
Your kitchen subjects, my dog. You know those subjects where you just choose subjects to say, I must just finish school, I just want to pass.
So now, until the next episode,
and Somalian
thanks for tuning in. This is Tim Breaking News.
As vibes on the next episode. I am Taz Golden and this is Aldos FM 87.6 all day, every single day. In the background, Oscar Umbo featuring Givo and Seko. The song is titled Grateful and it is one of my favorite jams. I still have a list of bangers coming up. I have Sade, I have some artwork, I have some CB, I have some DJ Cup, I have a favorite Emily Sunday on this week's episode, and of course some folk, you know, for that deep vibe as we move. 19 minutes after 9 o'clock, we're gonna take a quick ad break. I'm gonna catch my breath, and then when we return, we're jumping into some Sade, which will be taking you on another journey. This is one of my favorite jams coming up after this.
Hey, what's up everybody? This is John Christian Yurick from Tortured Soul.